Greetings, everyone. Marty Sleva alongside Mitch Dyer.
That's me.
Mitch, you're in America now, but a couple weeks ago you weren't. You were in the cold tundra of Stockholm, Sweden.
Yes.
Why were you in Stockholm?
I was visiting Avalanche Studios. They are the developer of Just Cause 1,
That was an Avalanche.
Just Cause 2, and Just Cause 3.
But it's not being developed in Sweden.
No, it's actually at the New York studio.
Okay, so you took a big trip for a small trip.
Yeah.
That's the Mitch Dyer story. The big trip for a small trip.
Tell him my
But
autobiography.
Mitch, you got to go hands-on with Just Cause 3.
I did.
Your impressions are on the site.
Yes.
You dug it.
Loved it.
Can me and you play this game together?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know
Okay.
yet. Avalanche isn't super clear about it. They love the PC mod.
Okay.
You know, Just Cause 2 had the PC mod where you and me and a bunch of other players could go in and like tether stuff together and make a mess and do cool stuff.
So Just Cause 2 proper didn't have multiplayer?
Correct.
Okay.
It was not. It was a single-player sandbox thing only, open world, go do your thing, make a mess,
Yeah.
whatever. The PC version ended up getting a mod years later that allowed multiplayer.
And this kind of predated like GTA 5's like kind of open multiplayer.
Yes, big
All right.
time.
Yeah.
And now with Just Cause 3, the developers are being like really coy. Like, they don't want to say no, we're not doing multiplayer.
Yeah.
They don't want to say we're going to rely on the community to do that with the Just Cause 3 mod.
Yeah.
But they're like, hey, if we were going to make this game multiplayer in the first place, that'd be pretty great, wouldn't it? But, you know, we love the mods, so we're also going to open up those tools for the community if they want to do something like that again.
Yeah.
We hope so.
I mean, that's weird, because that seems like such a bummer to me, because especially if the game doesn't have multiplayer, I have no doubt the community will mod it into the PC version.
Guaranteed.
But if you get the PS4 or the Xbox One version, you're not going to have that.
But I don't think that's a deficiency. Like, this is not the kind of game for me that I want to play multiplayer in. Like, GTA got multiplayer for the first time in GTA 5, right?
Yeah.
You didn't need that in GTA 4.
Yeah,
you
no one's
didn't need
complaining
that in
about
Vice
San
City.
Andreas not having
Sure.
multiplayer.
And obviously times have changed, and we are like, our consoles are essentially online only at this point. But I just don't think that connected multiplayer is a necessity in a game like this, where, you know, you and I are playing Just Cause individually, single player, and it's all about the moments we have where it's like, oh, you wouldn't believe, like, I tethered to this chopper with the grappling hook, planted C4 on it, blew it up, it flew into a building, stuff exploded, it was awesome.
Yeah.
And you like upload that to Twitch or YouTube or you share it on PlayStation. That's the kind of stuff that makes this game awesome. In multiplayer, you're not really sharing in that in the same way. Like, oh, you were there for that, but you were also busy, like, tethering that car to a helicopter and using it as a wrecking ball to knock over a statue and not paying attention.
Yeah, it feels like if the inherent structure isn't there from the get-go, that the multiplayer, you know, just feels like this offshoot sort of a thing. Like, I mean, you know, there were a ton of open world games at the end of last year, and, you know, a lot of them, like Shadows of Mordor, didn't have multiplayer, or stuff like Far Cry and AC Unity had it, but I know the most fun I had in those games was playing it by myself.
Yeah.
Like, the memories I have from Far Cry 4 that are just insane moments were playing by myself or seeing your footage.
I blew up that alligator and flew across the river into a man.
Exactly.
Like, I don't need you for that. I love you, but I don't need you for that.
But, I mean, okay, but imagine, if you will,
okay,
a wordscape.
Paint me a picture.
I'm painting you a picture. No, just like what you were saying is if we could take down a chopper together, and if the mechanics were there that you can't do this thing by yourself, but the two of us are communicating and we're tethering and we're both hanging on to this helicopter with our grappling hooks, that could be really fun.
There are cool opportunities. I just don't think it's a necessity. Like, I don't think Just Cause 3 needs multiplayer. I think it might benefit from it. There are some cool opportunities there. Yeah. But it's not something where I'm like, does that multiplayer? I'm out.
Yeah. I mean, that's a weird, it seems like so many AAA games nowadays almost like have to have the multiplayer.
Gotta
Even
hit
if
the
it's hacked down.
checklist.
Yeah, you got to hit the checklist. And, you know, when we found out recently that the Order 1886 doesn't have multiplayer, people sort of freaked out. And I'm like, well, if you're just going to tack it on, I'd rather not have it. Like, if I'm not going to play it, then, you know, I didn't play, I know people kind of love The Last of Us multiplayer, but I didn't get into it, and I love that game just the same because I'm like, hey, single player is awesome enough. Yeah. Didn't need the multiplayer.
I mean, your Far Cry 4 analysis is perfect, right? Like, if you and I are in this world, maybe they could build some stuff around co-op, and that would be great, like it was in Far Cry 4. But at the same time, like if Far Cry 4 didn't have co-op, so what? Yeah. Yeah, it's not going to diminish the fact that you have these amazing stories, this amazing sandbox that you want to share with your friends. Yeah, and it's the player perspective is what's always interesting about Just Cause stuff. Yeah. Like you share those moments via like the player's perspective. Oh yeah. If you're on the outside looking in and you're like across the map and you're like, oh, he's doing some stuff, something exploded. Okay, cool. Yeah, like, it's just not as interesting. It's not as cool. For sure. There's not as much clear context. Yeah. I think you lose some of the magic. Yeah, the magic. When do we get to experience this magic? It is coming out sometime this year. I think they've claimed holiday. Like what? Like Bastille Day? Like probably not Easter. Okay, not Easter? No. Was it Valentine's Day? Did we miss it? No, we did not miss it. We didn't miss it. No. We're going to have a lot more on Just Cause 3 leading up to its release later this year. But for everything else, Just Cause, multiplayer with your buds, and Mitch Dyer's Valentine, you're already in the right place. ign.com.